this demonstration, we'll create a simple polygonal form. In doing so, we're going to not create it in a scale, but actual size, since this is like basically a shape and not a real object itself. We'll apply the object scale to it later if we'd like to. To start off, let's get ourselves all in the same units, and the units should be set to inches, and the display, I'm going to set mine to feet and inches, as well as the layout, feet and inches. Okay. With that, I'm going to create a rectangle. I could start from 0, 0, and I'm going to establish an area of about 5 by 3 inches. Okay, that's just for me to set a guideline on how big to make this thing. With that, I'm going to create a surface from 3 or 4 corners, which is this guy right here, and make a dynamic form. It doesn't have to be all the way to the corner or the ends or anything. The only thing I'm going to do is to try to make sure that it is not, I don't have any 90 degree angles to this thing. This is close to 90 degrees, but I think it's different enough, so it should be okay. Okay. From that, I do have this in a shaded form so that I could see this thing as such. Okay. And from that, I'm going to duplicate the surface, duplicate the border of this thing, or since this is simple enough shape, I'm just going to trace with a polyline the perimeter of this object. For that, I'm going to want to set my O-snaps into the endpoints and intersections, have that toggled on, and close. Okay, there it is. So that's my curve, and that's my surface. I just drew this curve so that I could establish another set of dimensions to work off of. I'm going to offset the shape that I made, and I'm going to turn this into, let's see, maybe 1.5. 1.5, enter, and there it is. Since I don't need this, get rid of that. I don't really need this shape right there. Get rid of that perimeter line that I made. From this, I am going to explode this object, because again, this is just a guideline for me to work around, so I know about how big to make these the side surfaces. What I'm going to do is to create a surface again from 3 to 4 points, but I do not just want to blindly follow the corner points. What I do need to do is I don't need to have this side as big as the other, so I'm gonna set this in offset, and I'm gonna set it in 1 inch. There it is. And I'm gonna do the same with this one, offset it 1 inch, extend, there it is. Okay, so my new point that I'm going to make, or the new shape that I'm going to make, is a wall. This is going to be my base, a wall that's about that tall. If I follow this line to that line, that's a parallel surface, and I don't really want to do that. Okay, so I'm going to create that surface from that point, and somewhere near that point, doesn't have to be, and I'm going to go about maybe this distance, maybe about a third of the way in. And there it is. Do the same with the other side. But I don't have to go all the way here. I could go a little bit further if I like, or what. And then, oh, for this one, maybe we should make, since we made this the taller side and the shorter side, maybe we should make this one right here the taller side and the shorter side. And there it is. Okay. With that, I establish my floor and my two walls. What I need to do now is to tilt these walls up. For that, I'm not really going to need these things anymore, so I'm just going to delete it or hide it and work with these pieces that I have right now. At this point, it might be a good idea to have your back face on. Right now I have mine set to a different color, but you can set it to anything that you want. Okay, and that is again in the display palette, and there it is. So what happened was that I created this thing so that it is the inside is set to this aquamarine color and the outside is to this gray. This is perfectly fine because I'm going to try to fold these things in, which means that this surface that I'm showing from the top is going to be the inside. So the inside is going to be this back face color. Okay. From here, I'm going to tilt these walls up. So if I select this object, right, and I'm going to rotate 3D. Rotate 3D. Select a axial point. Select a, let's just select something over here and tilt this up like so. As I'm doing this, note the radius that it is going around into. So as I tilt this up right here, looking at the right hand side face, and let me do this too, so that I'm lining this guy up a little bit more, and that way I can see about how much it's going to turn. So that looks like a pretty good angle. It's not perfectly 90 degrees, which means that I'll have a little bit more dramatic form. Okay, more like a dynamic form, what I mean. So if I want to set it to about that size, if I'm looking at this telemetry right there, it tells me that it's about 75 degrees. So somewhere between 80 degrees and 70 degrees is where I want this thing. So for this one, I'm just going to set it to, let's just say 70 degrees. Okay, and there I have tilted my wall. I'm going to do the same with this one right here. Oops. Let me try that again. Rotate 3D. That guy from there to there. Set it from there and going the positive direction, 70 degrees. Okay. This one right here, I'm going to do the same from here to here and from there. And in this time, please note that I'll see a negative number there going around this way, unless I'm going around on the counterclock direction. Okay, so if I go up this way, it's going to be about 70, let's just say 75, but don't forget the negative symbol. Negative 75 degrees. Enter. And there I have the two walls standing up. Okay. From this, I'm going to make two options of wall. So let me take this guy and copy it. And copy this guy as well. That way I could create two different options for the roof. Okay, when I have this thing, let's say hide. Please note that as I look at from the side view, we have the high point, low point, low point. Okay, so in triangulating these surfaces closed, I could choose to go from high point to high point or low point to low point. Let me try to demonstrate what this means. So in the first option, I'm going to go from high point to high point and then to the low point. Enter. 3 points, 3 sides makes a surface which is flat, right? And if I do the same on this side, I'm going to go the other direction just so that we could demonstrate something else. There it is. Okay, that closes everything off, which is perfectly fine. Okay, please note that since I went around the clockwise direction on this guy, the back face is showing on the outside. So when that happens, I'm just going to flip so that all the exterior parts are going to be shown in the exterior color and the inside parts are going to be shown in the back face color. Okay, you see the other forms. Okay, so I have this other option. If I go from the low point to low point, from the low point to low point to high point, same with the other direction. Flip this. Now you notice that I have like a butterfly roof where the 2 high points become like this pointed roof, whereas this one, it creates more like a gabled roof. So you have like a butterfly condition and a gable condition. Either one is perfectly fine. Just know exactly what you're doing when you create this form and thinking about the scoring that it will take when you cut this thing. Please note that on this one, all of the bends are happening in the same direction. So this is bending down, down, this is bending down, down, this is bending down, down. This one is also bending down, down. It's like a regular fold, right? On this one is bending right from here to here. It's bending towards the inside. This one is bending down as well. This guy is bending down as well. This guy is bending down as well. But please note that this part right here, the valley, is bending up. Okay? That may cause a little bit of trouble. Well, no, not really trouble, but it's another way of thinking about this thing when we make this thing. So you will have to create when we unfold this thing, and we'll show the unfolding demonstrating a little bit later, we're going to have to split from this area right here. Okay? But let's finish this up. And to finish this up, I'm going to try to get this to work in a yeah, I guess that's fine. Okay. So these forms right here, it kind of looks like it's flat, but please note that when you sight it from the side, we can't see this thing as parallel surfaces, which means that it will have a bend, right? So that means that if I could choose to go from high side to low side or low side to high side again and make that difference. Since this one actually is bending all out, maybe I should try to make it so that it's going from out to out, so that all my surfaces are facing in the same bump out direction. If I look at this guy, so since this one has a cave in, maybe I should try to cave the sides in as well. Okay, which means that going from the low point to low point to the high point and the other direction, flip, that gives me 2 separate conditions there. Okay, this is concaved in, this is convexed out. Okay, I'm just going to leave this side alone for now. Okay, and there I have 2 of the simplified forms. So maybe this is the opening for the entrance and stuff. This is more like the room right there. Okay, So we're going to try something a little bit different with this thing to make this even cleaner. That'll be on the next video.